Hey, yo, Chico. Alright, enough of this terrible Skull impersonations. Before I start this video, if you guys are not following me on Twitter, please do. That is at InZachWeTrust. Once again, that is at INZACH WETRUST. That is at InZachWeTrust. So, dig it. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're the TV troll in the background, I figured, you know what? nWo loves to troll, so I'm going to troll you guys today with a TV trolling in the background of my video. Don't like it? I'm sorry. I'm in control of this video. You're not. Remember that. Ladies and gentlemen, DVD. Title of the video, nWo, The Revolution. As you know, this came out this past Tuesday, and I got it, of course, and I watched it, and I'm going to get my overall thoughts on the whole DVD. Alright, cover of the nWo, The Revolution. Pretty simple, generic cover. It's actually like a pop-on, you know, the pop-up or whatever, like with the Orton, Lesnar DVD and everything. It's pretty cool. I really like it. It actually looks a lot nicer in person than looks probably pictures. nWo, The Revolution. You know what? Hold on. Yeah, I use the freaking magnifying glasses on here, so that way you guys can see better. See, look at that improvement from the last clip. The Revolution. Nice and HD shot. Back here. Yes, that's a slip cover. I want the DVD to fall. Alright, here's the DVD without the slip on. Looks the same. No pop on, but whatever. nWo, The Revolution. 3 disc set. WWE home video. Go back here. Got good old Kevin Nash, biggest pop of the night. Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And the infamous toothpick thrower, Scott Hall. Read you guys up here. New World Order. In the 1990s, one revolutionary moment symbolized the 3 letters and forged by notorious rebels painted the industry black and white. This brand new never-before-seen documentary reveals the too sweet saga of the nWo. Hear from the members who were in the for life, as well as stars who witnessed it up close and personal. From the hostile takeover of WCW and the stunning defections, internal struggles, and shocking resurgence in WWE, the complete story of the New World Order is finally told. Got some down here. Packed with 6 hours of special features showcasing Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and the rest of the nWo, including the Outsiders' invasion of Nitro, the shocking reveal of the 3rd member of the Bash at the Beach, the nWo's WWE debut, battles for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship and the WCW Tag Team Championship, matches featuring Sting, Macho Man Randy Savage, oh yeah, the Giant Rowdy Piper, Harlem Heat, the Steiner Brothers, and much more. You open this big bad boy up. On this page, or not page, but this flab right here. You can call this the New World Order, a professional wrestling brother. Good old Hulk Hogan. Speaking of Hogan, I don't like this picture. The fact that looks like everybody deep throat that microphone. Yeah, pretty lame. Mean Gene, Nash, Hall. The formation of the nWo 7796 Bash at the Beach, Daytona Beach, Florida. Really cool looking inside. All right, that was it's a mind fuck for you guys. Look at that. You open it up. nWo. Alright. Behind disc 1, you have, if it'll come out, Hulk Hogan with the WCW World title. Win Your nWo. This is from Hollywood Hulk Hogan. 2/23/97 Super Brawl. San Francisco, California. So Win Your nWo. Open it up. Got Hall, Bischoff, Hogan the title, Nash, your nWo. 1/25/97, I think that says. You can tell it's hard to see what number the first one makes out. Sold out. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, I think. No, I don't know. I didn't stay in. What the fuck's it called? I don't know. Kevin Nash, 12/27/98, Starrcade, Washington D.C. Your nWo, your nWo for life. Remember that, guys. Of course, you have the chapters and everything. Here are the chapters for disc 1. You guys can read right here. I'm not going to go into them. nWo for Life, so the documentary ends. So that's the end of the documentary right there. And here's the special features. And Diz 2, the matches on Diz 2. You can read them in the description if you guys want. And I'm just showing you here in case you're too lazy to look in the description. And Diz 3 is what you got. Alright, so that's all the contents you have on the nWo DVD. And now this documentary, it was good. Only an hour long, but honestly, it felt longer than that in my opinion because it flowed very well. It didn't even seem it was short at all in my eyes, in my opinion at least. It felt like a legit hour-and-a-half documentary in my eyes. It just flowed by really, really well. There's probably a lot of stuff you guys heard already in this DVD, but it's kind of nice and refreshed to see coming from other guys' perspectives of nWo when they formed. You get tons of people on here. You get the likes of Booker T, Bill DeMott, which I was surprised by, Lex Luger, who I was really surprised by because of the whole spine stroke he had. I didn't really think he'd be on a DVD anytime soon, or ever, but that was pretty nice to see him. Vince Russo, of all people, was on here, really surprised. Billy Kidman, who I didn't even recognize until they showed his name on there. I was like, Jesus, man, this is weird. But they got quite a few people, of course. They had archive footage for Hogan and Hall from Back in Black DVD. Archive footage from Bischoff from, I think it might have been the Monday Night Wars DVD. I'm not too sure. It was from 03. Whatever DVD came out in 03. I think it was Monday Night Wars. Someone, I don't remember if that came out in 03 or 05. I think it was 03, but it was archive footage. That's all that matters. The documentary was nice. They talked about how Billionaire Ted, as Scott Hall would say, bought nWo from Jim Crockett and made WCW. And they talked about how Nash and Hall became free agents, and they only went to WCW for the money because, you know, Nash figured, you know what, I have friends, why not make some money? So they went to WCW with guaranteed contracts and money, which is the main reason why they went there. They basically trolled WCW, Nitro, basically the entire time they were there until the NWO formed. They'd come out and be like, we got a third man, we're going to kick your guys' asses. You know, Nash power bombing Bischoff through the tables at not Bash the Beach. I think it was Great American Bash. I'm not too sure what show it was before Bash the Beach in '96, but whatever pay-per-view was before that one, that's when they came out and beat down Bischoff. But they basically trolled WCW, put it that way. Bash the Beach, when Hogan came out, everyone was really positive that Hogan was going to save WCW, but ended up turning his back on WCW, joining Hall and Nash, which everyone was just like, holy shit, did this happen? You know, he was a guy that people didn't expect to turn heel. Turned heel, made the nWo, basically took over the they basically took over WCW. Basically, no problem. They basically say, hey, we're on top, we're going to beat the living hell out of everybody. And, you know, the more they were becoming bigger, the more members started recruiting. They started recruiting, you know, $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Virgil. They were just recruiting people, you know, like people wanted to join them because that's how like big they were and how much takeover they were having. So people were joining them, which they said in the last DVD really took credibility away from them by adding a lot of people, which will lead into this DVD later on. The fans, they were supposed to hate nWo, but they became marks because the nWo are those heels that you don't want to like, but they're so cool, you kind of have to like them. You know, that's how cool they were. Like, people always bought their shirts. They were the hottest selling merchandise. They were the people that everyone wanted to see when they went to WCW shows. They just wanted nWo, which led into they actually want to do nWo. They want to make that basically their own brand because people wanted to see nWo, not WCW. They want to see the nWo. So they're actually talking about making, possibly changing the name WCW to nWo because that's how people wanted to see. And they wanted to make its own brand. They had their own show. Not their own show, but they had the nWo Saturday Night. They had their own pay-per-view, which Nash said that was the stupidest idea they've ever had. You give... Oh, yes, alright? I know I taught you to yes, only yes in my video. Sorry, that was my niece. I taught her the yes and no. So, ignore that if you heard that. But as I was saying, they gave its own pay-per-view. That was the dumbest idea ever. They were just becoming really popular, and everyone just basically wanted to see nWo. They didn't care about WCW. They wanted not Nitro. nWo. I'm talking really fast. I'm sorry if I'm really screwing up. I'm one of the moods where I'm just into this video for some reason. Talk about the Riley versus Sting. How Sting was basically the only guy that stood up to him like, you know what, I'm not gonna take a guy's shit. But eventually he did because he ended up joining the Wolfpack and everything, as all you guys know. And Sting, yeah, that's about it. He was basically the anti-nWo guy. He's a savior of WCW, which obviously failed. Talking about how nWo got a lot of publicity for WCW when they, started bringing in Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone, Jay Leno. They're talking about how there's a lot of publicity for them. They get those big names there, and that could get them, a lot of mainstream publicity because, hey, Jay Leno, you come to our show, we'll go on your show. They're basically just exchanging favors, which really got WCW on the map. And they talked about how the whole Wolfpack nWo feud was kind of the demise of the group and company, because it's basically its own members versus its own members, which was kind of dumb. It didn't really make a lot of sense, they thought. And it was really just the downhill part of the group and WCW in general, they said. And they said, talk about how they brought in bigger names every week. They take a guy from WWE, or that was in WWE, and bring them in and, put an nWo shirt on them. Like guys like Dusty Rhodes, or, whoever was a free agent at the time, or jumped ship at the time, they threw into the group just because they're a big name, or they're from WWE, and just said, you know what, put it into the group. And Hogan said, I don't necessarily agree with this, but he said how you can take like an average wrestler, basically, I think he's talking about like a mid-carder or a jobber, you throw an nWo t-shirt on him, and he's a star overnight. I don't believe that for one bit, because you can get him heat, you can get him a reaction, but after that, they're going to remember him. Like, perfect example, Buff Bagwell. You won't even remember him anymore. He was in the nWo, and look where he went in his career. So I'll just leave it at that. But they talked about how they tried to, they attempted him when they brought him to WWE. They tried to make him big again, but it didn't work in WWE. It just didn't have that same effect it had in WCW, the impact they made and everything. Just everyone knew who they were at the time, and it was so fresh and new in WCW. So that's why it really didn't work when it went to WWE. So that was the main problem they had on there when they went there. That's why it really failed, they thought, in WWE. And they talked about how, I forgot to mention this earlier, talked about how the whole black and white, following announcements paid by the nWo thing came apart. They basically, I forgot who it was, they basically were talking to someone about how to making the promos, and he's like, let me handle it. And they're like, alright, and the guy came out with the nWo back in black promos and everything. So, documentary was not really a lot to talk about. Like I said, there was just a lot of stuff you probably already know about, and they really didn't go in depth a lot. Like, they just talked about the same thing for about a good, maybe 10 minutes. So it wasn't definitely anything fresh and new. So it was a good documentary. I mean, if this review seemed rushed, like talking wise, that's because I was just covering the important stuff on here, and it just showed how in depth they went. They didn't really talk a lot about everything. But what else happened? Oh yeah, they mentioned how nWo will always have an impact in wrestling as one of the biggest things that ever happened in wrestling, and they'll always have a mark. And decades and decades and decades from now, we'll still be talking about the nWo, which we will be probably, because that's how big of an impact they had. But this review, that's it for the review, guys. Like I said, if this review seemed rushed, that's because the documentary seemed rushed. Alright, well, it didn't seem rushed watching it, but like, the information that was said in the documentary, it seemed like they didn't take their time, a lot of time on most of the things. It seemed like they just wanted to, get it out there real quick and move on to the next thing. So that was one of the problems I had with the documentary. So thank you for watching the video. nWo for life. Later, skaters.